Alrighty. Okay, so I was actually thinking the intro was going to start before this, but apparently the intro is not is not playing. So I guess I'm just going to shoot. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. I'm super excited. It's a new year. 2026 is right here before us. And I am I'm excited, yes, but I'm more or less waiting. Like I'm expectant. I'm expectant, and I'm sure you are too. As you can see, I'm the only one here. The duo, the three of us will be doing this, at least this month. And I am very excited because of the topic we have today. The topic is personal presence, the power of how you show up. And I have a special guest. But before I invite our special guest, how have you been? What's it for you this new year? What's that? You know how every year there's a new year, new me. What is it for you? What's that one thing that you're doing this year that you're intentional about? This topic and what we're going to be talking about today is definitely going to help you. So if you know anyone that should be here, this is the time. You need to call them so that we can enjoy this conversation together. I'm going to be inviting the guest right about now so that we can get the ball rolling. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. I don't know, the sound coming from your end is not so sharp. I don't know if you can make it a little audible. Maybe you get closer to your mic. That would help.
Okay, let me see. What can we do here? Let's just have a look. If I can clip on a mic and see if that works.
Okay. While we're waiting for that to happen. All right. Okay, that's fantastic.
Is this better?
Yeah, I think it is. Good to have you and Happy New Year. Before I even say anything, how is the new year already for you? 2026. How is it for you?
Well, the new year started really on a high energy vibe. We hit the ground running. I've had several meetings already, several training already lined up. So yes, it started, with activity. It's been activity packed right from the beginning.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. This is Your Voice, Your Impact, where we have very interesting and insightful conversations. And if you're going to be watching this later, I'm talking to people watching this now, and those that will be watching later. You might be watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Would like for you to drop something. I don't know where you're watching from, but would love for you to drop something so that we know you're here. And if you're going to be watching this later, would also appreciate your comments on any of our platforms. Today, we will be discussing something that is very, very, very important, especially the New Year, New Me thing. But most importantly, before we dive deep into the conversation of today, I'd like for you to introduce yourself in such a way that our viewers will be like, okay, we love it, love it, love it. So please introduce yourself to us. Tell us a little thing about you, what we should know about you. Tell us about you.
All right. Thank you so much. So my name is Sonye Allanah. I'm a Certified Etiquette and Image Consultant. But apart from that, in my former life, I started off as a career diplomat, and I was a career diplomat for over 20 years. After which I was headhunted and I joined the oil and gas sector. And I was there for another 15 years before I retired. So I'm a communications expert. I'm a public speaking coach. I'm an art enthusiast. And yeah, I think I'll stop here for now.
All righty. I'm still struggling to hear you clearly. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm
Wonder
still
why.
struggling to hear you. It's a little, it's still faint. I don't know. I don't know if it's
Don't know
from my
why.
end. I don't know if you're watching us and you're anywhere on our platform. Please, can you let us know if you can hear Madam Sonia? Please let us know if you can hear her clearly, or it's just from my own end, because I'm really struggling to hear you.
So maybe I should switch to my phone and see whether it's better. Should I try that?
Okay, so let me. Okay, there's a message. Okay, yes, someone just confirmed that your voice is really low. So
Okay,
yeah, I want us to enjoy this conversation. So maybe if you can switch to your phone, would love it.
okay, then let me try that.
Okay, while we're waiting for her to do that, I'll just continue. I'll continue with my questions. What have you been up to? What is it for you this new year? You know, we start off the year all the time talking about how it is important to set your goals and achieve them, so that at the end of the year you're asking yourself, so this, all right, let's go back on stage. Okay, can you speak? Maybe we'll hear you clearly.
Yeah, is this better?
Better, better,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
we love it.
All
All right.
right.
So thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And like I was saying, I was talking about the month. You know, whenever you get into the new year, there's always the new year, new me. And we thought about it. We said, okay, this month, January, let's just follow the crowd now. Let's vibe with the momentum. Let's see what's happening. Let's understand what personal development is, and that's our theme for the month, what we're focusing on. And this particular topic is personal presence. Before we talk about it, what is personal development for you generally? And what would you say if you were asked personal development? What is it? What's personal development?
Okay, so personal development is after all your academic qualifications, after all your, should I say, your core experiences that you might have had, that what is that extra that you need to excel? Now, we all have what I call our formal education is our starting point. It's our launch pad. But it certainly is not enough to give us the critical edge to be ahead of our peers. So when we talk about personal development, it is to number one, that we need to identify our weaknesses and know where we can strengthen them in order to get ahead, both of ourselves and also to be, should I say, the partner of choice,
Yeah.
anytime your name is being discussed in any room. So what can you develop yourself in? Many things. Any skill sets that you feel that you don't have. Of course, we, as a public speaker, I can start with public speaking. Many people are afraid to speak in public. So if they don't know how to speak in public, what can they do? Take courses, find out where they can learn public speaking and how to get out of their comfort zone to make themselves better. Because we are talking about now your voice, your power. If you don't use your voice, your power too has been lost to a great extent.
Yes, we love it. And on this show, we're very, very particular about why it is very important that you use your voice. And swinging next, I mean, to the next question I have, talking about your power as an individual, people don't even, some people will tell you that it's my voice. I mean, I have something, but I don't want to be out there. I want to make an impact, but I don't want to be out there. There's a lot, that would I'm a private person. I don't want to be out there, but I still want to make impact. If you're someone in that particular situation, what would you say to such a person that is too shy to make impact, being all over, but they still want to make impact. What would you say to such a person, and how can they go about making impact without necessarily, putting yourself out there?
Okay, well, in a way, the question is in two parts. Number one, it's a little bit of a paradox that you want to make impact without maybe being seen. How do you do that? But then, on the other hand, too, you don't have to be loud in order to make an impact. You can still be quiet, you can still be professional, and then make an impact. Now, the thing is that your work will speak for you. Now, for example, if you're an artist, you don't have to talk much. Your art will speak for you, your work will speak for you. And then there are also some people who are naturally what I would call the second position people. They're not the people that you would say are the leaders that are out front, but they're the people who assist the leaders to make them shine. And then once they are not there, the leader flounders. If he or she finds it difficult to work or to operate because that backbone is not there. So yes, there are different ways. You don't have to always speak or be in the forefront to make an impact. But when we talk about your voice being your power, then that means that you have to use your voice in some way to impact others, to ensure that they understand what it is that you're talking about.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ejiro. She's talking about how powerful and interesting the conversation is, and I like the fact that you. So let's go deep into your work over the years. The topic we have today, we'll still get there, but I want us to start off, you know, starting from somewhere that would make people, feel a bit comfortable and be like, okay, let's see what's in here. You have this experience that over 20 years of working, and you've worked in several sectors. Would like for you to share with us during your time in when you were in the oil sector. What would you say was profound in your work, like in terms of your presence, how you show up, and how you put in what you do for work? Like, how do you come out and they know that yes, this person is doing very well so far, from your experiences, from the oil sector to what you currently do? What's that one thing about you that anywhere, anytime, they'll say, this, when it comes to Madam Sonye, this is something unique about her, and that particular thing has helped you over the years in the work that you do?
Okay, thanks a lot. You talk about the oil sector, but you see, by the time I joined the oil and gas sector, I was already on top of my career. I'd like to go back to foreign affairs when I started as a young career diplomat, a young career foreign service officer. Now, it may interest you to know that I was painfully shy, which really takes me to the first question that you asked. I was really, really, really shy. However, my work, anything that was given to me, I did my work very well. I loved my work. I was enthusiastic about my work. I was doing it, but I didn't really need to talk, especially not to audiences. And at the beginning of your career, you are a rookie, so you just do your work, whatever you've been given, your tasks are handed to you. But then, as you move up the career ladder, you find that more and more demands are made of you where you need to speak. Initially, your bosses do the talking. They do the talking, you do the writing. Maybe you take the minutes of the meeting, etc. And that's about as far as it goes. But the first thing that stood me out was the way I wrote. And again, professionalism. And I remember I was a young officer, and I was in protocol at the time, and there was a visiting foreign minister from Greece, who had come. That was during the military era. And so he was to have a meeting with the Nigerian foreign minister. And for some reason, the desk officer failed to show up for the meeting, and there was panic. So our minister asked me, he said, "Can you take minutes?" I said, "Sure." So he said, "Please cover the meeting." So I took the minutes, I submitted them the following day. You know, in those days, we used typewriters. I don't know how many of you will know typewriters. There was nothing like, the laptop. There was nothing like computer, let alone laptop. Those were still very far-fetched. Anyway, the following day, I submitted the minutes of meeting. So several days later, about a week later or so, I was now called by a very senior ambassador. I was summoned to his office, and I was really apprehensive. I was asking myself that why? What happened? I have no business with him. Why would he call me? So I went to his office, and so he told me that I should sit down. He called the secretary, asked her to offer me tea. I was shocked, because I was a very young officer, just very fresh, just out of uni, and this was one of the top-ranking ambassadors. So I was really intimidated even by his presence. And then he now brought a file and he opened it. And he showed me the page. He said, "You wrote this." And I saw my minutes of meeting. So I said, "Yes, sir, I did." Then he said, "You are the kind of people we are looking for." He said, "You see this? We didn't do any alteration to it. We're sending him to Dodan Barracks, now." And he now sent me to another ambassador. He said, "You're the kind of person we're looking for." They wanted me to now work in a different department and to give me higher responsibility. So one thing I always tell people, that professionalism speaks for you. There are two things really: integrity and professionalism. I mean, those two, when people know that they can trust you and when they know that you perform, you deliver. So that already gives you visibility. So I think that's really the starting point.
I love it. I love how this conversation is going because we are gradually coming into the topic of today. It's very easy for people to just run off and say things around, I don't know why things are not working for me. I don't know why this is not this and why that is not that. It is what we hear all the time. It brings me to this question: the power of how you show up. This topic is really powerful. And I'm very happy because you're in a space where you see people of diverse different age groups, and you're able to tell what is wrong at different times. You can see, because you've been there, you're still in the game, you're working and you're watching things from where you were using typewriter, because some people will be watching this and they'll be like, typewriter, what's that? Thankfully, I had a glimpse of it. We used it in business studies before it disappeared. But it's pretty much what we still use. Just some of these things don't disappear entirely. They come in another form, which is the computers that we now use. Now, the power of presence is someone that's going to watch this later. There's somebody that's currently watching this, and you have touched on how your work, by just doing your work excellently, they took you from where you were to somewhere higher. Someone will be watching this. What does it mean? So first, there are two things in this particular topic: the power of how you show up. Tell us, what does it mean to even be powerful? Maybe it's a funny question, but then I think it's important we even understand what it means to be powerful, and then you tell us the power of how you show up. What does it mean to show up powerfully?
Okay. Well, thank you. Power. Well, power has, of course, different aspects to power, but everybody has the power. We can have the power of influence. We can have the power of, I don't know, just getting things done. We have the power of a particular position. But power just means being in charge and having a certain wherewithal that people understand, recognize, and look up to. Now, the power of showing up, we always say that personal presence is the message that you send before you speak and long after you've left. Now, when you walk into a room, even before you open your mouth to speak, people should look again and say, "Who's that?" So that is the presence. So it's not about volume or visibility, it's about impact. And this impact can start from the way you dress. It can start from the way you apply your makeup. It can start from your hairstyle. It can start from the kind of shoes you have chosen to wear. So it can start from the fragrance you've decided to put on. Now people people like perfume and etc. But you know that if it's overpowering and if it's too strong, it can also have a negative effect. People will think, "Hi, oh God, that person! Please don't let the person come again. My allergies are about to start." So you've lost it, you know. So it's just the know-how of putting things together in such a way to make things work, to make you memorable, to make you stand out. And I recall there was a time when I was in the oil and gas sector, and somebody asked me to, look for a certain individual, and I called the person, and when he came to my office, I now understood and I saw presence in action. Number one, presence is composure. Presence is knowledge. Presence is unhurried. Presence is intentional, paying attention to detail. And down to the kind of pen you choose to hold, it speaks. So all those, they might be little and you might think it's negligible, but those little details speak. There is a popular saying that the devil is in the detail. And it's a little tiny, even sometimes you might think it's insignificant detail that can either make or mar you.
I'll just share something with I I would share this is a vulnerable moment for me because of what you just said. And I would say that before now, I understand certain things, and this is going to take me to the next question. Because I understand how it is very easy to lose out on wanting to be perfect. So I remember a friend of mine, and I'll let you unpack that. A friend of mine, she wanted to start something, but she was a perfectionist, so she didn't start it. And a very talented person, but she had almost like an she had almost OCD, if I must say.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a year. I was like, how far? When I said, this has to be perfect, this has to be perfect. I just need it to be perfect before I start. Now, it got to almost 2 years, and she never took up that particular thing because she's someone that is very detailed. And it was something I admired about her. So based on what you just said, what just came to me, and because of how I saw her losing out on a lot of things, I just told myself that I really don't have to be perfect to start. I'm just going to start and get things done on the way. But being in a space where I'm at, I've come to realize that there's a huge difference between excellence and perfection, which is my question to you. Help us unpack it. Tell us where a case where someone is refusing to do certain things because, like you rightly said, the power is in the details, the intentionality. So it's huge. Some people are confused that where do I even start from? How do I know that this is me just showing up anyhow and missing it? I would personally love for you to help us unpack it so that people are not missing the true picture of what it entails to be excellent and to do things properly and to be procrastinating just because you're waiting for things to be perfect before you start. So help us unpack that.
Okay, thank you very much. It's indeed a very pertinent question. And also, I would just like to say or agree with you that perfectionism and etiquette do not go hand in hand. Number one, if you're a perfectionist, most perfectionists are miserable people. Why? Because we can never be perfect. Nobody is perfect. No situation is perfect. And for those of us that we know, we have planned events, we've planned weddings, there is no event that is ever perfect. Nothing ever goes the way we have planned it. So perfectionism, I would say, park it. Just park it, because yes, perfectionism is very close to OCD, and then you get upset if things don't work the way you actually want them to work. So that's not at all what I'm talking about. When I talked about the devil being in the detail, I wasn't talking about being perfect. But what I mean is understanding what is needed for you to position yourself in such a way that you come across as the person that you want to come across as. Do you want to come across as as an expert in a certain field? Do you want to come across as an authority in a certain field? Do you want to come across as a listener? What is it that you want to come across as? Whatever it is, be perfect, or make sure that that image is what is visible. So the thing is that, many people think that presence is personality. It isn't. And that, again, I'm alluding to what you said at the beginning. So some very quiet people command the room, well, effortlessly. When they walk into the room, everything shifts. But then when I talk about being intentional about whatever it is that you are doing and you want to do, number one, start with yourself. Know what suits you and what doesn't. So I always advocate, don't go with the trend. Or they say, oh, now they are wearing whatever it is, or they're doing that. That's not the point. Whatever they're wearing, does it suit you? Is it right for purpose? Dress to suit the occasion, and ensure that whatever image that you want to present is consistent. You wouldn't go to an orphanage and you'll be wearing chandeliers as earrings and all your bling bling and everything, because what's the message? So always ask yourself, what message am I sending out? What signals am I sending out, per time? And that really helps. So it's about, you see, excellence is doing the best with what you have. So anything that you have per time, and you're doing the best to the best of your ability with what you have, that is excellence. Perfectionism, it doesn't work. Nothing is ever perfect, but you can do your best. The best is what you have. For example, you may be in an office and maybe there is no electricity. So what can you do? Is the situation perfect? No, it isn't. And you're having external visitors. But how can you make the best with what you have? Can you bring in a fan? Can you ask your visitors that they can remove their jackets to feel comfortable? You're doing the best with what you have per time. So that's the difference between excellence and perfectionism.
I love it. I absolutely love it, because we like to put it out there. We like to ensure that when we're having these conversations, some people how they comprehend, they take something and they just run with it, and the next day,
Mhm.
they're carrying it out. So the next thing I want to ask you is about aura. First things first, I would ask you, do you believe that some people carry an aura where they are not liked? That question has been biting me for so long. And sometimes I'm like, sometimes I even ask myself that some people, you just find out that they'll tell you that, I don't know, there are some people that when I just see them, I don't know, they've not done anything to me, but I just don't like them. Like, and then there's some people that they won't even, once you just meet. So do you believe in people carrying different auras? And is it something that can change? Or for those people with such auras, are they going to continue to live like that? Just tell us what you know about aura, and if you even believe that some people carry such auras that they're not liked, and some carry auras that they're liked. Tell us what you know about aura.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Everybody, every single human being on the face of this planet carries an aura. Every single one of us. So yes, and now it's interesting because when you said that there's some people instinctively you don't like them. Maybe they just come into the room and you just don't like them. Yes, they carry an aura that you don't like. And these days we find there is a lot of should I say make believe. people trying too hard, people trying to show, what they're not. I give you an example. You have a university student, a first year undergraduate, and she carries an iPhone 17. And she comes in a very loud, high heels, making noise and whatever. So instinctively, you just say something is off, something is off. Why is it off? What is an undergraduate who has never worked a day in her life doing with an iPhone 17 that costs maybe over 2 million or whatever? So definitely something is off. The way she is dressed is not is suited for a student. So there is something that that is off. And that brings me to the importance of first impressions. Now, the importance of first impressions, it is your subconscious mind that picks up signals and will tell you whether that aura is compatible with you or not. Because the subconscious mind can pick up if somebody is fake, even if your conscious mind can't see that immediately. And if somebody is fake, it will just not resonate with you at all. Now, what is in etiquette, we say we have the rule of 12. And so you have only 7 to 15 seconds to create a first impression. And within those 7 to 15 seconds, your subconscious mind has made up or has made judgments concerning the people that are with you. And so, and whether you would like them or you don't like them, or whether the aura agrees with you or it doesn't. Now, in those first 7 to 15 seconds, what goes into them? Number one, the way you walk, just by your gait alone. You know that by your gait alone, a lot can be deduced. Number two, by the first 12 words you speak. What comes out of your mouth when you're meeting somebody for the first time? Number three, the first 12 inches. When they look at you from the crown of your head, let's say to your neckline, the picture that they see or that anybody sees will tell you, oh, this person is somebody worth knowing, or I'd rather not, I pass. Maybe they have eyelashes that are 5 inches long. Maybe they have the remnants of their last lunch between their teeth. Maybe they have a button missing or a frayed collar, or they have a stain on their shirt. So those are the little signals that your subconscious mind picks up and makes judgment on your behalf. And then next is the last 12 inches from your ankles to your feet. Footwear is very important. The type of shoes you choose, whether for male or female. Your shoes should be clean. They should match your outfit. They should not be laughing. Then if it's a man, what kind of socks is he wearing? Is the elastic slack and it's hanging around his ankles? So all those things tell a lot about the person. And all those things go within the first 7 to 15 seconds. So it's very important. And then in etiquette, we say fabric to fabric and leather to leather. What does that mean? It means that for a gentleman, your belt and your shoes must match. Your socks and your trousers must match, because your socks are supposed to be an extension of your trousers. So that gives you that visual image, which your subconscious mind is picking up. I'm not talking about your conscious mind now, right? So all this goes into the first 7 to 15 seconds. And then also, we have a saying that is, be armed for success. So the longer your sleeves, the greater your air of authority. So it's important to know how we dress. Some people think that, some ladies now, they might think that, oh, they need to be sexy or they need to be attractive. No, you don't. You don't need to. I don't know what sexy is anyway, but the point is that the less skin you show, the better. The more seriously you're taken, the more you are remembered, because presence is not about how much space you take. It's about how much space you hold. So if somebody comes into a room and it's very noisy and loud and everybody see me, I'm here, I have arrived, whatever, the minute you go, they say, oh gosh, never again. But there's somebody might come in quietly, self-respecting, sit down, be, quiet, having very intelligent conversations, and getting up, maybe not even saying too much. And after they say, please, who's that person? Do you have a number? I'd like to, I'd like to do a follow-up. So that's the difference between, what you said, this aura thing. We call it aura, we call it all kinds of things, but it is the power of first impressions. And you only have, you only have one chance to create the first impression. The first impression can't be created twice or multiple times. And that's why sometimes instinctively you say you like or don't like somebody. Because sometimes when you say you don't like somebody, they say, why? Do you know the person? No. Has the person done anything to you? No. But somehow you just don't like the person. So that is what your subconscious has picked up and what we call aura.
Wow. Wow. I don't know about anybody. And if you're watching this, you're watching Your Voice, Your Impact, and we're having a deep conversation that would help you. Just in case there's someone there that you've been wondering, you go for interviews, you go somewhere, people are not just taking you seriously. It might just be that you have something sticking out. You always have something sticking out in your teeth, or there's just something that you're not doing right. I mean, and this is very, very important, because some people are very innocent, ignorantly innocent. And that's why we do what we do to help us get better. Because at the end of the day, we all would do better if we know better. So that's one of the reasons we are doing this. And I love the fact you're an etiquette coach. If you're looking for someone that would help you, that would train your staff, that would train you have Madam Sonye is that person you need to reach out to. We'll talk about that later on in the show. I mean, before we wrap up the show, so that, I'm sure some people would be listening to us right now and they're wondering, okay, this etiquette thing, maybe we should, our sales team and people. So the next question I want to ask you is about confidence. Confidence is something that speaks in several languages. Someone will tell you that, it's not how you, it's not, they have several ways that they pick up confidence. So if you were to speak generally about confidence, you just give an illustration now that it's not the loudest in the room. And now let's balance it. That's not to say that there's something wrong with you. If you're someone that, you're a vibrant person, vivacious, someone that is very, it doesn't mean that, there's something wrong with you. It just means that what are you leaving behind in all of the noise and in all of the, what are you leaving behind? That is, that's to balance that out, so that somebody will not, go into the room and just suddenly become quiet because,
Yes.
Yeah, we try to balance these things. Like I said, some people just run away with certain things and they don't, they want to, in the quest to do things better, they end up not showing up as themselves. Some people are very, very loud. Maybe they're loud. Some people are very quiet, and everybody, we're all unique in our different ways. So what is confidence to you? If you were to talk about confidence.
Thank you very much. Before I answer that one, there's the second part of your last question I didn't answer. When you asked that, can people change? When you talked about aura, yes, they can. Yes, they can. And I want to really applaud what you are doing. And I hope enough people are keying into what you're doing, because it is really invaluable. And as you said, some people are doing the wrong thing innocently. They just think that that's the thing to do to get attention or whatever. So yes, you can change. You can change by learning, by exposing yourself to this self-development that we're talking about, and you find that now these rough edges begin to be smoothened over, and you have a much better persona. And suddenly people say, the person now looks refined. And I also like
Yeah.
what you said about, when I said about being loud. Now, what I alluded to was that people are allowed to just to gain attention. That is not
Mm.
a natural personality trait, but because they, when people are fake, when they're faking it, they used to say, "Fake it till you make it." Please don't.
You make it.
Please don't. You know that there's some things that go around. Everybody flies around with it. They make fake till you're making. When you're fake, it shows through, and it's
Yeah.
really, but let your own character traits, build on them, and let them, show through. Now, when you talk about confidence, what makes somebody confident? Confidence begins internally. It begins with the conversations that you have with yourself. It is when you unmask yourself, you stand before the mirror and you say, now who am I really? What
Mm.
can I do? What's in my hands? So, in other words, what are my gifts? What are my talents? So you do an audit of all the good points that you have, of all the qualities that you have, on the ones that you want to build upon. Then you build upon them, and then that gives you the confidence. Confidence is about, for example, if I ask you who are you or where did you grow up, you can tell me confidently because you know. So there
Yes.
is a knowing about confidence. There's a knowing, and then when you are now building on that knowledge, confidence grows over time.
Yeah.
And I was painfully shy, as I said, when I started, in my
Mm.
journey. I would not. Oh my goodness gracious! If you ask me to speak, I would rather die, quite literally. But then, yes, but I mean, if it had been, let's say, 20 years ago or 15 years ago, you had asked me to come and speak, I would have declined. You wouldn't have not possible. you know. But then, so it shows that everything can be learned. And now I'm
Mm.
one of the foremost authorities, when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to etiquette, I am the authority. But before, even with my knowledge, I wouldn't have spoken.
Mm.
Yeah, I wouldn't have spoken. So you have to really tell yourself, yes, you can. And what does it take for me to go out? Maybe if there are some little anxieties here and there, or some, what do you call it now, negative self-talk or double
Yeah.
guessing. You need to surround yourself with people that will really applaud you on your journey, that will really tell you, go on, that will give you positive feedback. That will give you honest feedback, not the
Mm.
kind when you say, "Oh, how did I do?" They say, "Oh, great, fantastic, super," and it wasn't, and you just made a fool of yourself. But they'll give you honest feedback with the
Yeah.
intention to make you better.
Absolutely.
So you cannot fake inner presence because your body will expose you.
Mm.
And then you see, so that's why when you fake it, that's when you now have this, what is perceived to be a negative aura, because people just say this is not real. you know
Mm.
So that, okay, let me just stop here for now. I don't know whether I've answered that
I love it.
question.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love what you said about gift and talent. And then if you already know, there's a knowing, the mere knowledge of a thing gives you that confidence. You will just be like, I mean, this is what I eat for lunch. This is what I
Exactly.
eat for, and it will just show up. And then you're like, okay, so I'm going to ask you. Some people say that once you are very wealthy, you have money, you're naturally confident. Like money comes with confidence. Do you believe in that saying?
No, not really. Money doesn't come with confidence, because in fact, very often money can even come with being overly self-conscious and being suspicious. I have come across many very, very wealthy people, but they are in a precarious situation. And why do I say that? Because they're never sure whether people like them for themselves or they like them because of the money that they have. So that makes them very unsure of themselves. So yes, with money they can acquire things. They have a private yacht, they have private islands in the Bahamas, etc. But they are very unsure and anxious when it comes to people and interpersonal relationships, because they never know that the people that are coming to me, is it because of me or because of my money? And they're highly suspicious because very often they've been betrayed, and so they feel that they're in a bind, And sometimes we admire people that have a lot of money, but actually many of them are quite miserable. Because really and truly, most people come to them because of their money. Most of them respect them because of their money. If you take that money away, if you take all the trappings away, would people still like them? So that's the question.
I mean, this one touched somewhere because I read an article, I think a while ago, and it was a case of I think a billionaire that killed himself. And people were like, why would you do that? You're very wealthy. And I mean, and it just goes back to what you just said around them, even saying that, okay, without money, would people still like me? Would people still love me? And the next thing I'm going to ask you, as we quietly get to the end of this conversation, we still have a bit of time, but I'm loving this because it is not just, it's helping me as a person to understand how it is on me to be intentional about presence, what I need to do. So if you were to talk generally, because some people will tell you that if you want to follow these things, which one is the best? How do you keep up with these things? Like which one is, but because personally, so I was in a conversation around etiquette and we were talking about, so I think I'll just use that, but this had to do with using spoons correctly. So this got so, it became a very serious argument because the lady, we went out, it was a restaurant, a fine restaurant, and we were eating and we started talking, and she just told someone that, no, you're not holding that knife and fork very well. You should do it this way. And the lady, I'm hungry, for crying out loud. I just need to eat, and then the conversation started. And then I said, I remember when I used to work in a multinational and we had to eat in a dining, in like the restaurant. And you find some people eating amala. They use fork to eat amala. And I asked the lady that was talking about the etiquette, the etiquette when you're eating, and I said, after the argument, and I gave her that, I said, so what do you think about someone using fork to eat amala? And she said, well, that's okay, that's nice. And I said, no, but traditionally amala is something you eat with your hand. So how do you, but we got on and on and on and on. And the reason why I'm asking this question is some people actually really want to do better, but it takes them away from their authentic self. I really want to eat amala. I learned how to eat amala with my hand. In fact, amala is eating with your hand. But you have to be prim and proper in the presence of people so that you're not seen as what's wrong with this person. But in the same way, you go to China and you find out that there's nothing you tell a Chinese person, they'll use their chopsticks to eat rice, to eat everything. That's what they are traditionally known for. And this is a major problem in Africa, us trying to fit in and getting out of our authentic self. So how do we strike a balance of us being and now this is generally speaking as regards etiquette, not a particular area, but being your authentic self, so that because in wanting to fit into certain things, you might just miss it and you just know that you're struggling, you're really struggling. So where do we strike a balance, being authentic and at the same time, doing what is seemingly right?
Okay, that's an interesting question and a very interesting debate. But what I would like to say here is that it depends on the setting. Now, if you're going to a fine dining restaurant, it's not likely that it will serve amala. Now, especially now we are also talking about the kind of etiquette. Are we talking about social etiquette or are we talking about business etiquette? Now, in business, a lot of business is done over a meal, lunch or dinner. And etiquette is just like a lingua franca. It's a universal language that everybody understands. And it's interesting you talked about China, and I have been in China on official meetings. Yes, they do have the chopsticks, but they will always also have the cutlery, the universally known cutlery alongside, and they give you a choice which you prefer. If you're conversant with chopsticks, by all means use them. If not, you can use the normal knife and fork. Now, as I said, it depends on the setting. If you're in a fine dining restaurant, number one, they wouldn't serve swallow, so you use your cutlery normally. But if you go to an African restaurant, by all means, if you so desire. Now, let me give you a personal example. I love fufu. If you're giving me afang soup, I love fufu, right? But fufu has a very pungent smell. So if I were to use my hands during a business meeting, and I could. And then afterwards, even when you wash your hands, you can still perceive it. And then maybe I need to shake hands afterwards. Is that appropriate? Yeah. So either what I would do, maybe I would pass on the swallow and maybe eat rice or potatoes and then eat the swallow at home. But if you're in a setting, maybe a social setting, where all of you go out, you say there's one amala joint, by all means, wash your hands and dig in. Yeah, so it just depends on the setting, and that's why we just have to get it right. And then you see, you take your cue from the most important person in the room. For example, you're going for dinner with your minister, or you're going for a place with your minister, then you want to be digging with your hands, and he just wants to, because you are talking over a meal. So it depends. So you have to just really very carefully discern what is appropriate and what is not. And as I said, if it is not appropriate, ditch the swallow, eat that one at home, and then just do what is socially acceptable.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, you have your own. Everyone should be able to know, intuitively know that, okay, this doesn't look like it will speak well of me. So
Mhm.
so it's important to be intuitive enough to study your environment, be socially aware, and know
Absolutely.
what is right per time. That's what I'm running away with. So I would love for you to ask yourself a question, and that's funny. If you had to ask yourself an important question that would be relevant in this conversation, and I've not asked you that question, and you know that someone would need that particular the answer would help someone, what would that question be?
If I were to ask myself,
No, now the question is to ask yourself so that you answer it. But simply because maybe the question is relevant, but I've not asked you that question. But you know that that question is relevant. So if you were to answer a very important question, what would the question be and how would you answer it?
okay, the question would be, what, or do you understand what common presence killers are?
Hmm,
Because we may kill our presence inadvertently.
I love it. I
So
mean, very
what do you
important. So
think are
please.
presence killers?
Ah, no, I'd love for you to answer it, but then presence killers, and I think you've given us a hint already. You know, presence killers, not understanding your environment and, doing the exact thing that would sabotage you. So first is you have to be aware of your environment. Knowledge of your environment is key. So you don't kill. So you have to be socially aware. And I mean, I don't know what, if you flip it, I don't know how it would kill, but that's why you're here. That's why you're the professional. You're going to help us answer that question.
Yes, absolutely. What you said is so, so, so true and key, to be socially aware. So some of the presence killers are nervous laughter. Sometimes people laugh in the wrong place. They are maybe laughing too loudly. It can kill your presence.
Mm,
Talking too fast can also kill your presence. Some people say, It's a presence killer, because presence is all about being understood, being heard, not just when people keep straying, say, what you say, what you say, what are you talking about? Also, shrinking posture. When you have a posture like, oh, please don't mind me, it's I don't really, want to be here, you guys, I'm not really here, don't mind me. A shrinking posture, it kills your presence.
Wow.
And also over justifying. When you whatever it is that you think you need to over justify, it kills your presence.
Whoa.
Amongst others, yes. So
Whoa.
these are just a few for us to chew on.
Very, very key. Like, number one, when you're speaking too fast, it means people might just miss it. They like, can you calm down? Let's catch what you're
Exactly.
saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And then the fact that you also need to be able to the last one you just said. Now I'm like
Over
resuming.
justifying.
Over
Over,
justifying. Like,
yes.
does it also mean explaining too much? You want to
Anything over.
explain?
Anything
Over.
that is over is, you
Wow.
see, the middle ground is always good. I mean, I wore this dress because I'm comfortable, full stop. But if you say, I wore this dress because it is blue, and blue is my favorite color, and if I don't wear blue, maybe red, it will now show that I'm angry, and I don't want to show people I'm angry.
Yeah, and the third one,
You understand?
your body language, the
Yes, your
body
body language.
language, how
Just
you're.
shrinking, don't shrink, yes.
I'm
Just know
sure.
that you should always go into any space with the attitude that I have a right to be here.
I like that. I like this one. I like this one. I should be here. Like, I mean, I'm here because I should be here. I want to be here, and I'm going to be present.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, how did I get here? What am I even doing here? I mean, I shouldn't. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it because it shows up. It shows up in so many ways. Especially, I mean, we can go on and on. And what I just caught myself catching, I mean, I just caught myself from what you just said is sometimes we are in places where we're screaming out with our body. We're telling that, be fast, I want to get out of here, or I shouldn't be here, and all of those things. But
Mm-hmm.
consciously knowing that you're here because you have to be here will change a lot of things and will show how, will send a different message to the people that you're with. I love that. I love that.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's see if we have some comments. This is all right. Okay. I'm sure. Oh my goodness. I just pressed something and okay, I'm back. All right. I was just trying to get what somebody shared. I mean, we can be here all day talking about this because this topic is very, very crucial and very important. And I know that for those watching now, I can see some people are watching. If you're watching on Instagram, shout out to you. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, shout out to you. I want you to do us a favor, share, and share. You want to carry your friends along. You want to carry your loved ones along. You don't want to just get this to yourself. You want people around you to also learn these things. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, would love for you to send our message out there. Your voice is indeed what you can use as a tool for impact. And I'm very happy we've been talking to Madam Sonye Allanah. She has been an interesting guest. And what do you expect from a seasoned public speaker? I love the fact that we've had this conversation and you've been able to give us tips that we will work with. I'm personally running away with some of the things that kills one's presence without knowing. I'm also running away with the fact that the the attention that you put into everything that you do will show up. It will show up. Attention, intention, and being excellent at what you do. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. If you were to give a last message to our viewers, people that will be watching this later, what would you say?
Okay, so thanks so much. It has been a wonderful and exciting time. I would just say that presence is not about knowing everything. It's about staying grounded, even when you don't.
Thank you so much. Staying grounded. Staying grounded. And you really need to stay grounded. This is 2026, and you know how it is important that you are grounded so that you can achieve your goals. This has been interesting. You know, someone is writing that. Thank you so much, EJ, for joining. Thank you to all those that will be watching this later. Your voice, your impact. Follow us, and like we've always mentioned, we have something packed for you. If you're not following us, you might miss it. So go on our YouTube page, subscribe, go on our Instagram, our LinkedIn, so that when we drop some of these things that will be useful for you in this 2026, you would catch it. You would catch it. I repeat, you'd catch it. All right. See you on the next episode of Your Voice, Your Impact. And remember, your voice is important. Use it.